Am I having a hallucination?
Emily Blunt is about to be on every screen because of Devil Wears Prada 2. And a couple years ago, I spent 6 weeks working with her on a Netflix movie. Today, I'm telling you what she's actually like on set, and it's not what I expected at all. There's a scene in Pain Hustlers where Emily and Chris Evans' characters are sitting at a table reviewing candidates they're about to hire. You got a stack of folders, stack of headshots, going one at a time through who makes the cut. On the page, it's pretty standard montage scene. You read it and you think, okay, this is a transition scene. Hit your lines, get the information across, you just move on, right? That is not what Emily did. So I'm sitting on the side of set watching them shoot it. And the second the camera rolls, Emily starts improvising. So she's grabbing folders out of Chris's hands, throwing files across the table. And there's even one moment, and I remember this exactly, where she literally yanks a candidate's photo out of his fingers, looks at it for half a second and goes, "Oh no, we're not doing that person." She created just a fully invented line, not on the page. And then she tosses it into the reject pile and waits to see what is he gonna do back. And here's what hit me. She was taking the scene completely seriously, like dead eye of the storm serious. It was alive, it had tone, and it was tone perfect for the movie we were making. And most people, when they think about a top tier actor, they think discipline, hit your mark, say the words, don't mess with the script. But that's just not what was happening at the highest level, like at all. The page is the minimum of what the scene can be. Their job is to walk in and figure out what else is possible. What's funnier, what's more honest, what's stranger, what makes Chris Evans actually laugh on take 3. And here's where I want to widen this out, because this is not just an acting thing, really. This is a top of the field thing in literally any industry. The most successful person on your team is almost never the person who follows the manual the closest. The script in your job, the script in your relationships, the script of how you're supposed to do the thing. Most of us treat it like law, but the people who actually get to the top, they treat it like the starting point. They show up, they do the bare minimum that's required of them, and then they say, okay, what else is possible here though? So ask yourself this and be honest. Where in your life are you gripping the script like it's the law? Where are you doing the version of the job that someone wrote down for you instead of the version that's actually you? Woo, people, that question alone is worth the whole price of admission to this video. So if you like that, hit the like button. Now, the craft thing was surprising. The next thing she did was the one that explained to me how she's still on every magazine cover 20 years into her career. It had nothing to do with talent. We had this one shoot day where the call time was like painfully early. Catering people are practically still asleep. I'm swollen. Bring a croissant to set. It really helps with all of that. And we were doing a long dialogue heavy scene that needed real energy, and you could feel the whole set just dragging. The crew's dragging, the cast is dragging. And Chris Evans is a great guy. I love Chris, but Chris was not awake yet either. But Emily walks in, sees the energy in the room, and just goes, wake up, Chris. She's like clapping, she's yelling. And then she turns to the rest of us and goes, you guys too. Somebody help me wake him up. So we were all granted permission to yell at Chris Evans and clap in his face that morning, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. But here's the thing, that's exactly what the room needed. Within 2 minutes, the energy in that whole room flipped. The crew's laughing now, Chris is laughing. We can all do the scene, it pops, it works. And most people see reputations as your resume, what you've done, what you've booked, who you've worked with. That is not what reputation is at the top of any industry. Reputation at the level Emily Blunt is operating at is the answer to one question. Do people want you in the room? And that's it. It's not, are you talented? Not, oh, are you famous? Do people light up when you walk in, or do they tense up? Because at the highest level of any field, talent is everywhere. Talent is a baseline requirement. The thing that separates people who get hired again and again across decades is whether the room gets better when they walk in it. And here's what's wild. That's actually a skill. Reading a room's energy and lifting it up is a skill. Most people don't think of it as a skill. They think of it as a personality, but it's not a personality. It's a learnable thing. Emily Blunt has been training that muscle for 20 years, probably more. So So the question for you is, when you walk into the room, the meeting, the dinner, the set, whatever, does the energy go up or does it stay the same? Does it go down? Because most of us assume it's not our job to lift up the room. That assumption is why most people stall out at the middle of their field instead of getting all the way to the top. Now, there was something Emily said to me on this shoot on day 3 that I am going to tell you at the end of the video because it is the perfect example of what I'm about to talk about in section 3. So just hold on to that, because the third thing she did is the one I really wasn't expecting. Real quick, before I get into it, if you're not an actor, ignore this part and stick around for the next bit, because this is the one I almost can't tell without getting a little choked up. If you're watching this and you actually are an aspiring actor, or you've thought about pursuing acting at some point in your life, I built a free tool specifically for you. It's called the Actor Audit. You answer a few questions and it shows you exactly what's working and what isn't in your path to becoming a professional actor. It takes like 2 minutes, it's completely free, and the link's in the description. Go check it out. But first, so last day of the shoot, about 6 weeks in, there's a small group of us, what they call the recurring reps. Basically, the working actors who've been there long enough to be in scene after scene after scene after scene in the movie. I'd say there's about 6 or 7 of us. We were the people who showed up to set practically every single day, and that Emily, Chris were there. We were in enough scenes that we really got to know everyone. And it's wrap day, we're all standing in a circle doing our own goodbye thing. We're hugging, taking pictures, and Emily walks over to our circle. It was so sweet. She joins in. She just whoop, slipped into the group hug we were all doing. And then she goes, I just want to thank you guys. You really added to the tone of this movie. You were here every day. I notice it. Don't think it goes unnoticed. I want you to understand the size of that, because if you've ever been on a film set, you might not get it. There is zero obligation, zero structural reason for an A-list actor to come thank the working actors on set. The unfortunate hierarchy of a movie set is real. The cast list has tiers and numbers. There's a leads, there's a supporting cast, there's day players, there's backgrounds, and we're all kind of put in this hierarchy. Cast members at her level often don't even know working actors' names, but she did. She knew all of ours. I'd written her a thank you card the night before, because I knew it was wrap day and I wanted to make sure I told her what those 6 weeks really meant to me as an actor. And after the big group hug, I walk over to her holding area to give it to her. She's there, she's with her 2 daughters, who also are genuinely 2 of the sweetest little nuggets I've ever met. And I hand her the card, I tell her, thank you. And she stops and she thanks me back, like really receives it. And then I'm standing there, I'm meeting her kids. Here's something that I noticed the whole shoot that I want to put in your head. So Emily lives in another city that I'm not going to say the actual name of the city just for privacy reasons for her sake. But she didn't live where we were shooting. And the entire 6 weeks she was working with production to figure out how to wrap her scenes so that she can travel back and forth. And there was one day they wrapped her shooting early, specifically so she could fly home. Her family came to set on lighter days often, and she would book her travel to maximize the time with her 2 kids. I want you to sit with what that actually means. She's one of the most in-demand actresses on the planet. She could have any privilege she wanted on that set. And the thing she chose to use her A-list privilege for was being a more present mother. She didn't want the extra time in her trailer, fancy requests, not more lines. The leverage went towards her kids. And most people, when they imagine making it, they imagine the version of themselves where they finally don't have to compromise, where everyone caters to them, where their time is their own. Here is the most successful person I have ever worked with, and what she does with her freedom is pointed it back at her family. That's not what I really expected at the top. I think most of us assume the top of the mountain looks like getting to be kind of selfish. But watching Emily for 6 weeks, the top of the mountain actually looks like getting to be present in your real life. The career is what gives her the leverage to be a great mom, not the other way around. If that's the actual destination, that changes how you think about the climb towards it. So ask yourself, what are you actually building all of this for? Be honest. If you got to the place you're trying to get to and someone watched you for 6 weeks, what would they say you point your privileges at? So the things she said to me on day 3 that I told you at the start I'd come back to, here we are. We'd been doing some pretty wild scenes at that point. Big party scenes. I had to jump in a pool with all my clothes on, doing some risque dancing. I really did not have Dirty Dancing with Captain America on my bingo card, but hey, I crossed it off. But here's the thing, so like outside of these scenes, I'm a pretty polite guy. I was nice to everyone. I'm friendly with the crew. I'm not like the loud one in the room being obnoxious. Emily watches me, jump in the pool, watches me do this whole ridiculous dance with Chris. And at one point on day 3, she comes up to me and she goes, "You're so charming, but you really know how to get down and dirty with it, Neil." I can't believe my British accent. I love that line so much that I put it in my Actors Access bio, and it's been there ever since. Because here's what's crazy about that sentence. One of the most observant actresses of our generation described a person in 12 words, and the description contains 2 opposing tones in one sentence. Charming and down and dirty. Polite and wild. He's soft and unhinged, and both sides are completely true and completely me. Most people will never let themselves be described that way. They pick one register and they just live in it. So here's the thing I want you to take from all 3 of these: the craft, the reputation, and the life. They all point at the same skill, and the skill is range. And that's what I will be thinking of when I go to see Devil Wears Prada 2 this weekend. If this is the kind of breakdown you want more of, actual 6-week on set, A-list, here's what it looks like kind of content, hit subscribe, hit the bell. I do this every week. And go ahead and drop in the comments which of those 3 lessons hit you the hardest. I read every single one. I really care what you guys think. And if you actually are pursuing acting and you watch this whole thing because part of you knows this is the world you want to be in, go ahead and take that actor audit. Come on, it's 2 minutes, free, links in the description. What you're waiting for? Go check out one of these videos next. I'm so excited to have you around here, and I'll see you next time. Mwah!